Hello and welcome to Kerbal Space Ram Plane Reviews. This is special episode, whatever it is. And today we're taking a look at, the rear of this thing is different from what I thought it, was. Ow, why? Leg, why do you hurt now? Yeah. So, this is, as you might be able to guess by the look of it, a helicopter. And it's completely stock. And we're gonna see if it actually, works properly. So we have some seats for some Kerbals. We have a very large internal space there up front. This is full of reaction wheels, of course, to keep it steady, because else it would not work with this insane complexity. So the interesting thing about this is that you might have noticed there's no engines on the rotor blades. It does fly like a helicopter, and or at least it's supposed to. We're going to get to that in a minute. But the interesting thing about it, rather than putting engines on the blades to propel them, we have this system in here that uses engines internally to push plates that rotate the propeller. So we're gonna see how that goes, if that works out, because it's a very interesting, different idea. I just wish there was like some way to make a smaller version on the back, or at least to decorate the back so it looked like it was one of those as well, because it makes me kind of sad that, we don't have that right now. But that's okay, let's give this a try. Haha. The landing gear really compressed when it loaded. Alright, so if you didn't notice in the VAB there is actually hold on, I moved the window for a moment. There's actually two versions of this craft in this save. That's because there's two versions of it apparently. Also, hold on, let's cut the engines for a moment, because it is supposed to have switch on SAS, go to full power, hit space. Okay, so no detaching the motor. There was no decoupler that went off there. It's just supposed to detach on its own. I'm a little confused as to how that's supposed to work exactly, because this should need to be detached in order for it to work. Little docking node. Should probably tell it to decouple. And now, if I zoom out, you can see that there's thruster effects going through the helicopter, completely ignoring the walls that are there, which is rather unfortunate. And there is also a helicopter blade spinning. There's also a engine on the back here, which is at 12% to keep us pointed forward mostly. It doesn't quite do it. We're using quite a bit of yaw to keep that from going terribly. But as you can see, it manages to take off and pick up some speed. If we tilt forward, we can fly it forward, although I imagine if I tilt too dramatically, it'll have a bit of a problem. It controls pretty well, considering it's a crazy freaking helicopter built out of stock parts. I'm curious what these red lights are. Like, you just decided you wanted red lights, I guess. Also, we seem to be crashing just a bit. Crashing quite a bit. I'm trying to pull up, trying to pull up. Nope, the blades are crushing, and now we are crashing, and I'm turning off the engines to hope we survive. Yeah. We still have one blade. And now we don't. Well, the core of it is pretty sturdy. That's just the saddest thing. The remains of a helicopter just kind of pitifully rolling along, while part of it sparks and burns. So let's test the improved version now. Never mind, it seems I accidentally loaded the improved version to start with. So I guess we're going to try out the unimproved, the older version, which has these extra fuel tanks. That seems to be the most immediate noticeable difference. I believe there were some other improvements made as well. Also, I just noticed it has more blades. The other one only had 3, if I remember correctly. This one has 5, which is interesting. Normally you don't see things with 5 symmetry in KSP. There is a mod for that though, so you can do that. I think it has more reaction wheels? I can't quite tell. It is only 2 more parts than the other one though, so it isn't that different, at least in terms of parts. It's possible that the other one has some more style parts that this one doesn't have, that this one used for actual things, or maybe just the positions of some of these parts have moved. Oh yes, you can see the interior here is entirely different. We're using RCS tanks and plates rather than the single barrel kind of thing with plates embedded in it. Interesting. Alright, let's give it a try. Alright, it's loaded in. It's almost falling on its face. Let's engage the SAS and fire everything at full velocity, because that is how you fly this. That is how you fly the other one as well. Or at least, pretty sure. Well, technically I was following the first one's instructions on the second one, because whoops. But yeah, everything should be fine. Yeah, see, the other one had us pressing stage 0, or not stage 0, but pressing action group 0, aka, well actually yeah, action group 10, aka 0, in order to launch things. But we didn't do that because we were following this one's instructions, which are ever so slightly different. Basically, the other one has action groups for some things, whereas this one is just about, well, yes, just about flying the way I flew the other one. So, it's having some trouble building up speed, it seems. However, we have built up enough speed to, well, we're rocking in place on the ground. We're not quite lifting off. Oh, don't, okay, don't fall over sideways. That's how the last one died. Wait, roll. I needed to be hitting roll, and instead I was hitting yaw, because I am smart. And if I hit the landing gear button, the top will fly out, I'm pretty sure. And, unfortunately, I think the designer of this didn't understand that you can actually go into the action groups and edit the action groups for landing gear as well, so that you can have landing gear that don't react when landing gear button is pushed. Yes, that was very good English there for a moment. But, this one's flying pretty well. I imagine if I was more careful with how I flew the other one, it would have flown better. I think it needs some sort of extra rotational force besides the SAS that's in here, because it does continually try to rotate to the right, like almost constantly, and that's making it very, very difficult to fly. I can't get it to rotate to the left at all. The other one had a similar problem, although maybe not as severe. I did not actually get to fly it as long to continue testing it. In any case, this is turning into too much a review, which is a dumb thing to say considering this is a review. I'm gonna push the landing gear button. And everything should go to shit. Waiting for it. Waiting for it. Yep, you can see the middle has come apart. And rather than flying out, it's decided to disintegrate itself and have us drop straight into the ground. Which is an interesting way for things to end. And as the dust clears, we learn never to hit G while flying one of these. I'm going to load up the second one more time, so that I can show you the same kind of tomfoolery with that one. However, before I do that, let's load up the action groups to show that you can indeed remove landing gear from the action groups. So you can fix this problem very easily. Alright, so here we are on the runway, engaging SAS device, firing up the engines, waiting for the gradual spin up of both the engines and the propellers. Also, I forgot to hit 0, so no wonder the propellers weren't actually moving yet, but now they will. I wonder if I hit 0 again, what would happen? Seems to be nothing at all. Let's hope it stays that way, because else things could go horribly a bit wrong. Also, I'm curious what happens if you have one of these things landed somewhere and then you go into loading range. I wonder if they will tend to crash a bit because the rotor part would load or not load before the main body and then start falling before the body can. I doubt that would be too much of a problem because everything once you go into loading range is loaded at once, but then again it could very much be a problem. I love how this is just, you can see this. Oh, what's going on? Oh, it's starting to tilt a little on its own. Yes, it definitely tends to roll to the right quite a bit I might want to actually turn down the engine power. We're literally shaking her apart, which is pretty cool. And this thing can get going pretty fast. It's sparking. It could start taking some damage soon. It could be very traumatic. Traumatic, in fact. And it will be very traumatic in a moment, because I've just hit the button to raise the landing gear, which will cause that piece to come detached. And now that piece has come detached, and now we have an engine on the rear that's telling us to spin, while the craft is not actually needing to spin. And now we've got to try and control our crash so that we take less damage. Or rather, survive. That's the main thing. Yes, so that was the 77 Industries 5H1 Mark 1.1, which definitely I think handled that kind of a failure a bit better. Which is interesting. It definitely is an improved design. Thanks for watching. The reason it's slowly panning the camera is actually a problem with a dead zone not being recognized on a controller plugged into my computer right now, which I just find hilarious, so I had to mention it, because it's actually creating this really cool, very slow pan effect, but that is entirely non-intentional, because it's actually just an annoying little bug that I need to fix. Well, actually, I can't fix, because it's a bug with the control system that I have. You might have noticed, hold on, which one of these buttons? Oh, I was hitting it in the wrong thing. This, right here, advanced fly-by-wire. It doesn't work very well, unfortunately. It's a thing that allows you to have multiple controllers plugged in at once, and you can configure them. And this one is the one that's giving it problems right now. Unfortunately, that's the problem. Thanks for watching. As always, see you in space with the slow pan that I will speed up in post.